Hi, welcome back to Spring CS170. Just want to give the introduction for this week 7. So we're here on the student schedule. You can see we're on the JavaScript functions, chapter 19. Uh, as you can see here, we just got done with the exam for the prior week, and hopefully everyone did well on that. Uh, and if you didn't do so well, just remember we have the second chance policy. So that means if you do the section 1 of the final exam very well, better than what you did for the first exam, that score will be applied to your first exam. Okay. And then just another reminder for people, if you do encounter like some difficulties like during the exam, let's say uploading or seeing something on the exam, that's why we provided the proctor schedule. You need to make sure you use that. Get on there and just let someone know that you're having an issue and it's impacting you doing the exam, right? So make sure you do that. You can take screenshots, that's fine too. But make sure you do all of that stuff. If you really kind of wait until days after the exam and then come back and ask something, by that time, everything's kind of almost done and dusted. So you really don't have too much options except to say that we're going to have the second chance policy with the final exam. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Make sure you do take advantage of the proctors, take screenshots, document what's going on, and then we'll try to address it right away as opposed to like when the exam is well over. Okay. So again, we're on JavaScript functions, okay, and let me go over here. So you remember js.do, okay, I was showing that to you before. So the nice thing is once you go into js.do, like right at the very beginning, you can see they provide like all these little examples here, and then how it looks like on the right hand side. So you can see they have functions here, right? So this function is show random number, right? And then even within that, um, basically there's like functions that are built in that you can refer to. So this is not a function that you would write yourself. Like random number, that's you're writing this function here, but you have things like this math, right? Within math, you have all kinds of functions that you can access. In this case, it's to generate a random number, okay? So let me open this so you can see the comment here, right? So this is, and when you're doing JavaScript, um, when you do slash slash like this is like putting into comment, which is good. You can have like, um, you know, something to refer to help you understand what the code is saying, right? And helps other people looking at it, right? You can see all of this stuff here too, right? These for loops and stuff like that. We're going to be getting to that in coming soon for the JavaScript lessons. Um, but for this week, we're looking at functions. And so this is what they call the declaration of the function, right? And then the call of the function should be here, like down here, you see this? So you remember, here's the on click, right? So this is your event on click, and then within the double quotes, that's all JavaScript. Okay, so in this case, it's calling this function show random number, which is this. Okay, now I'm just giving you the quick intro this week, so don't like worry too much about this, but I'm just telling you this so this is an example you can refer to. You can play around with it in js.do. You can create your own functions in here and whatnot. Later on when we do the introduction to loops, you'll be looking at this too. Okay, so I thought this was just nice that you can play around with this here, but don't worry about it. You don't have to go too crazy on it right now. I'm just doing a quick intro. Okay, what I did want to cover on this intro is I've been getting a number of questions about flowcharts and pseudocode. Now, I know it's part of your assignment, and I shouldn't really be in a position, and I don't think the TA should be, where we're helping to tell you whether your assignment is correct or not. You try your best, you go with the material that you can see, or try to uh, build on the material that you've been presented, and then you turn it in, right? We're not really here to double check your assignment before you turn it in, okay? But having said that, let me just go through a couple of things here that maybe you'll find helpful. So one of them is around the idea of decisions, right? So here's like the diamonds, right? You remember the diamonds on your flow chart? So you're not really asked for this during the assignment, but just a reminder to people, right? When you come in, anytime, and when we say like the various shapes in the flow chart, they have certain meanings. Like we really do mean it. Those are the conventions you need to follow, right? So in this case, the diamond means a decision, right? And the convention is that you have your input, let's say, coming in, and your output can only be two choices, right? It's a binary thing, which I think I've mentioned before. So if somehow you have three choices, like I said, that's not part of your assignment, but you can expect that you might get a question like that for the exam. When you have three choices coming out, um, you can't do this. You can't do like this one in and then three out like this. It can only be two, right? So if you have like choice A, B, and C, right? If let's say this was A, B, and C, you can't represent it like this on the convention that we're following for the flow charts. What you want to do is say, well, okay, is it choice A or choice B, right? So let's say the question here would say, uh, is it A, right? So that's the question here. So if it's yes, great, then you can go over here, and I would suggest you kind of say yes, right? Put like a yes or something here, and then out comes this side. Then if it's a no, it goes out the other side. Let me go to the one that is the proper example here, right? So on the right-hand side is how you want to represent this if you have three choices. Here's your input. Let's say this is choice, is it choice A? If it's yes, then you come over here and here's your path that you follow. And it'll go to like probably some sort of calculation or whatever. So that'll be your rectangle, right? But if it's no, well, then it's going to be either choice B or choice C. You don't know yet, right? So choice B or choice C will come out this side. So choice A will go here. Choice B or C would come out here, okay? Now you come out to here and you can say, is it choice B? If it's choice B, then it will be yes, right? Else, if there's three choices involved, then it can only be choice C, right? Choice C will come out here. Okay, so that's how you represent your three choices if you're doing like the convention that we're following with one input and then two output on the diamonds for your decision. Okay, and this kind of fits in nicely for the coding that you're going to be doing within the context of this class, right? So there are ways to represent the code or implement the code so that you can have like all of your choices and worked on in one shot, but that's really not within the scope of this class. So in the scope of the class, what we'll be doing is more of like nested if statements, okay? And that's where I'm going to go to the pseudocode here. Okay, so this is your pseudocode here, and I believe some people mentioned they didn't see this if else. Well, but this is in your pseudocode reference here, right? So if then, right, is one choice. If then else means like either it's one or the other, right? So like it says Boolean condition, right? If true, else false, right? So like I said, if true, go this way, else false goes this way, right? And so you can see how this fits together with the options that we're giving you on the pseudocode and eventually what would become your actual real code, right? Starting from here, here's your flow chart, here's your decisions, your three choices, if and then else, right? If and then else here. And you can see that if I do this, this is really just a nested uh, choice, right? A nested decision. And so when you say if this, else, within the else here, you can put another if else, right? Now, when you do this for pseudocode and when you actually do this for implementation of your real code, I would suggest you do some sort of indentation or spacing or whatever, right? I don't really care which way, but do make it distinct. Otherwise, you're going to confuse the heck out of yourself when you try to write this. You'll just see a whole bunch of if, else, and it's going to be a mess, right? So I would say, like, look here, you can see if, else, and if, and then you can see like it indented a little bit here, right, to do like display hot or display not so hot. When you do like a nested, let's say if or if else, then you would start off where this display is not so hot, right? And then you would also do another indent or tab if you're doing more logic within that. In that way, if you do it, you can logically see the blocks of stuff that's nested, the code that's nested, Okay, so I'm telling you this because if you're not careful with this, it's going to be a heck of a time to try to debug this if you make a mistake. So do pay attention to that, right? So I'm trying to show you how to flow from the flow chart to the pseudocode, and then eventually it will translate into your actual code that you write in JavaScript. Okay, so that's my tip for today. So for those of you that are sending me your flowcharts and asking me, is your flowchart right or wrong? I'm not in a position to really answer that for you, right? I might as well just do the assignment for you, right? So, but I'm telling you stuff like this, hopefully you get some idea. And then if you have questions, look at it more like as like the conceptual question as opposed to specifically about the assignment. If you have that, send it to myself or to the TAs or drop into our lab hours. Okay, so that's it for the intro today. I'm gonna come back with more of like the real lecture stuff for the JavaScript functions. All right, thank you.